This is day 3 of the 30-day yapping challenge, and so I watched my last videos, and one of the things that I noticed is that I say a lot, and there's two reasons why I do it. One of them is because I thought in conversation that my conversation was so intellectual that sometimes I would use a word like in order to dumb it down, to make it seem as though I don't know, like I'm concocting the idea, which I am, and just allowing the person that I'm talking to keep up. And then the other part is just it's dead air. It's like when my brain, it's stumbling for a word, so it puts a noise there to summon the proper word. But I don't know if that's really necessary to say that, so I'm gonna try to stop saying it, even though I've done it quite a few times already. And I think what would be beneficial there is that I stop looking down on people in conversation, and also I sound more sure and confident. So it's crazy how that dynamic kind of works for me, because I thought I was dumbing down the conversation, but really the conversation was dumb and it was my fault. So if someone can't keep up with the conversation, first off, how am I even supposed to know that? How can I make that assumption for them? I don't even know if it helps me dumbing it down, because I remember talking with I was talking with my cousin in New York, and he was speaking very metaphorically, and I just had to stop the conversation because I was enjoying it. I love metaphors. I love poetry. Well, I love the idea of poetry. I don't read any poetry. I like the idea of it. I should probably read it. Some of it I read, but some poetry that I read, when I come across it, is like too intellectual sounding for me. Like I heard one that said like the hollows of a willow tree make exclamations or something like that. Anyways, I'm speaking with him, and he's speaking so metaphorically that I just have to stop him. I say, can you say that normally for me? Because I like what you're saying, but I want to know what you said. And yeah, I just made it such a habit of saying that just even hearing it right now is difficult for me. That's one of the things that I've noticed on this challenge so far. One of the heavy things that I've noticed is the amount of times that I say I'm kind of tired of saying it. Oh, and another thing about it is that steady stream of speech, so that way I don't get interrupted. Sometimes when I talk to people and I don't articulate my idea properly, I'll throw in an or some sort of auditory thing just to keep the noise going, so I don't get interrupted, so I can maybe have a second shot at saying what I was saying. So I think it'd be a good exercise to try to iron out that habit out of my speech. I also wanted to talk about the power of what if. I saw 2 entries about that online. I spent a lot of time online, and it wasn't always like this per se. I used to have an Instagram page, a meme page, and I used to tell a lot of jokes, but I was faceless. I must have spent, I think I spent, well, the thing is I had a purpose, but I spent like 4 or 5 hours on the app, garnering other people's posts that I thought were nice and then reissuing them through my page. So, but now that I'm just purely a consumer of internet content, it there's plane going over. It's just like in Queens, man. It's just like in Queens. Sometimes you'll be having a conversation. I like in Queens. I had said this to someone, I forgot who it was, but in Queens, my nephew. In Queens, when you're talking, a plane will pass by and you can't even hear each other talk, so you have to stop speaking and just be present with the person while the plane is going over. I'm kind of tired of this saying What's getting to me is that I have a nephew, and he is growing up. He's 4 now, and I don't know how I was when I was 4, but the way that he talks it upsets me because of how little effort there is at challenging his own speech. And well, it made me look at myself first, you know. My sister brought that up to me today, that my father is he's teaching certain things that he never would have taught when I was growing up. And the thing about change is, when there's something that you really want to change, that it really upsets you, it really gets at you, there's normally something about yourself that is the real disturbing portion, the real disturbing thing. So I've at least tried to make it a habit to observe my own actions, or at least in theory, to hopefully speak it into my own character, that when I see something that I don't like, that I address myself first. Because I wouldn't like that, you know? Somebody to point out everything that's wrong with me, but the reason why they're seeing it as wrong is because something that's an issue on their part. Christ talked about that. He said that, you know, you criticize this guy because he has a splinter in his eye, but you have a log in your eye. He says that you have to take the log out of your eye so that you can see clearly to take the splinter out of your brother's eye. And that scripture, that frame of thought, hit me pretty hard, because I was the type of person that I always saw the world as stupid and less than me, and I was always above and thinking, and it's just not right. It's just inaccurate. And I actually got caught by somebody who did love me, and I need to do something about that relationship, because she's so loving. But one time we were at a party, and one of the guys had said a joke, and the lady, she didn't understand it, and I was upset because she didn't understand it. And I was like, I kind of like lost affinity with her. I was like, oh man, she didn't get it. But then it turns out she did actually understand the joke. She was just pretending. So then I felt so stupid. But then she hugged me, and then she kissed me on the cheek. And, you know, things like that, it just opens my mind. I keep on thinking that I should be, I gotta be a better person. I gotta be a better person. I gotta do something. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's just action. Action is difficult when you're changing your baseline. I don't know why it has to be so difficult to do something that to do something new that is beneficial, or to stop doing something old that would be beneficial. I know there's a very basic system in the way the brain works that allows your habits to even occur in the first place. But then sometimes you enter back into human animal mode, and it feels defeating, where it's like, yeah, I hear all of the methods, I hear that all this stuff has to be done, but it's not easy. And everybody says it's not supposed to be easy. I don't really know how hard it's supposed to be, you know. I've done some difficult things in my life. And there we go again, saying, Anyways, that's day 3 yapping. The power of what if. I don't think I said anything about it necessarily. What if? What if it works? What if we can do something that nobody else is doing? What if it takes off? Instead of thinking about failure all the time, I'll get better though. I watch the videos, and we'll see what changes. This is a whole method, a process. I'm running into that word a lot lately. Everything is a process, and it really is. It really do be a process. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.